new glue. Luckily, I've got one up here. So I'm just running beads of super glue into the areas where I'm going to need to put the roof former. I'll just put a little bit around the card here, there as well, where it sticks around the tower. And now I'm just going to slip it into place. Tilt the camera a little bit. I'm just going to put a couple of clamps on just to persuade it to stick onto the former a bit better. Those clamps aren't great, but it'll do, including a bulldog clip. That's not the best of bulldog clips because it's got a slight wedge on it. This one's the better type. And get it the right way around. There we go, that's a better clamp. So I'll just clamp all those in place for the moment. I'm going to completely ignore the fact that there's a blood stain on the roof. I didn't dribble over it at all. And that's stuck, that's stuck. It doesn't take long, you just need to persuade it to stick in the right place for a little while. You just need to shave a little bit off there. Shadow there, haven't we? It's still not quite dark enough to need the full light on yet. Right, before I can start tiling it, I need to stick my gables in. And just tilt down a minute. I've got some windows to fit in place. Putting some gloves on to stop my fingerprints getting all over the glass. So let me just do that first. Alright, I'm just going to need to squeeze a little bit of glue onto a scrap of card. I won't be able to stay very long tonight because I'm expecting to run taxi service again. So we'll see what we can achieve. So when I just run a bead of glue, I could actually have used super glue, I forgot. It's not going to seep under that, I'll put the wrong one on again. it's not going to seep underneath or over the top of that ridge. Quite a tight fit to this. We'll get it in. I just want to now just shave a little bit off the bottom there because it's a little too close. There we go. So that will now fit. He says that will now fit on this roof here. What I'm going to need to do is just take off the protective film there, and I'm going to have to just paint behind where the roof is going. Sorry, I'm going to have to paint behind where the gable is going, just so it doesn't show. Take a little bit of time to work out the alignment. It is pretty much there. So like I say, what I'm going to do is just paint this section here black so that when you look through the window you're just getting a reflection rather than seeing the checked paper behind. Now the checked paper's there to give me some alignment for when I put the roof tiles on. I just don't need to do this bit. It'll save me on a bit of tiles. Right, now that's drying. While that's drying, I'll just paint the inside of this gable wall. Dormer. It's dormer, not gable. Dormer windows. I'll just paint the inside of this dormer wall so that if you do happen to be able to glance in at the right angle, all you see is black reflecting back. It just creates a false shadow, creating the illusion of depth. Without having to put an actual interior in. Right, we'll just pan down to that now because I need to make the rest of that roof. I haven't got any water. Again. I found a little glass. Roof I'm going to make out of card. I'll just mark on the centre point, and then I can score it. It'll help me force it back into place as well. So now if I just put a little mark there and a little mark there, I now want to angle backwards to that point there, so it'll meet the roof. Should be the idea anyway. I was just testing it. It's unfortunate that I can't get far enough back to show you the angle. So let's just glue this in first. And then we can do a test fit on the actual roof. So I can show you. Going to go on like that. As you can see, we've got a nice neat fit to the shape of the roof there, and also there. But before I can actually put that on, I need to tile it. So we'll just leave that temporarily fixed there. If you can you just see as it's going to the window there, you can't actually see anything other than the black interior, so that will stick on like that. I've just got the matter of the smaller circular gables to make now. And again, I'm going to have to glue the windows in first. First of all, I just need to cut them out from the backing. Again, I'm going to have to work out where they sit first, and then paint the area behind it black. So I just need a little bit of super glue again. And just spot it behind the window. Be better off picking this up with a pair of tweezers this time. If I could lay my hands on one. On a pair, that is. I'm sure I was using some earlier. Nope, lost it. Oh well. I need to work fast so it doesn't stick in the wrong place and I can get this nice and horizontal. That's quite fortunate. It's stuck really quickly, but it is straight. So now I just want to stick this triangular former in place. And these line up with the window underneath. This one's already got its former stuck on. I just need to glue that in place. Again, I forget that you can't see what I'm showing you because it's off screen. We'll pan up to that in a minute. Let's just cut this bit of plastic out for the roof, for the glass. I've got a combination of leaving the protective film on for the moment and gloves so I don't get my fingerprints all over the glazing. Okay, it's nice plastic to cut to this. Okay, I'm not going to tempt fate by using super glue twice, so I'll just use the rest of this white glue that I've got out. It's gluing MDF to MDF, so or laser board to MDF, so we should get a nice bond with white glue. It's not the same as plastic. It just means if I do accidentally get it in the wrong place, I have a little bit of wiggle time to get it moved. And it's not as easy to position this because it's tight. Okay, that's straight. Went in quite nicely, did that. Alright, now I can do the same as I did on the other side and just paint, sorry, on the other gable, just paint those bits black inside, just so when you see inside the window, you don't see the check background. Or indeed the white walls. the roof on this is slightly curved, so it's going to be a little bit more tricky to apply. Good evening, Georgia. Not sure how long I'm going to be able to stay tonight because I've got some picking up duties to attend to again. See how we go. So I'm just going to line these up now so I can work out where I'm going to paint the walls. Not bad, I'm really tired. Sleep's trying to catch up with me. After the weekend. I think that's pretty much spot on there. How about yourself? Have you had a good day off? A good half-termy type day? That's what I'm trying to say. Pull that in a bit. Mark on. The hard part of this is actually going to be getting the curved roof to fit into the roof line. The other one was nice and straight, so we had some geometric sort of triangular shapes to go with, but this one is going to be a little trickier. Everything's falling off. Right, so that's indicating where my black areas need to be. So if I just block paint those in. I am, of course, yes, going to have to mark off again, aren't I? Because I've just painted over where I've marked it, but I'll get a rough indication now. I just know that when it's going to get to the interesting part, I'm going to get a phone call to go and fetch. Right, that's that done. Let me just hairdryer that bit. That's sensible stuff, Georgia. Glad to hear it. Right, I'm just going to do a bit of drying, so watch out for the noise. Yes, I'm going to have to try and get to bed fairly early tonight. I'm up tomorrow to go and drive down to Devon. I'm taking that farmhouse model down to Dave tomorrow. So we've got road trip incoming. So that'll be good. But also tiring. Right, what I'm going to try and do to do this curved section is I need to add a little support. I need to add a little support to the roof to try and help me get the curve. So in a similar way to what I did for the curved bit here, so the dormer here, I need to set a distance marker. So if I just pan back up again a little bit, this down in place. Now what I mean by that is I need to put, I don't know if you can see because of the angle, let's try and get a bit higher. What I need to do is mark on the distance that this is going back to the slope. I think this is just an oddment of cocktail stick that I'm using here. I've just got a slight angle to that end, left this one straight. It's got bits of paint stuck to it, but it doesn't matter because it's just a scrap. Now I need to glue this on. I'm trying to work out first whether I need to peel that backing off. I'm just going to leave that till the last minute because I don't want it to mark. Just off screen, I'm just going to squeeze out a bit of really thick super glue. Not got much of that left now, so trying to be sparing. I'm going to dot that in the centre. Just try and hold it in place till it sets. In hindsight, a little drilled hole behind it to slot into would have been easier. There, that's actually perfect. Oh, thank you, Georgia. So I'll use that as a benchmark. I'll just pan it down. It's easier than holding it in mid-air. It's not that difficult to trim through cocktail sticks. I really wish I hadn't run out of activator spray, but there you go. Looks like courthouse. This is actually a little chateau in the south of France. It's a lovely little, well, I say lovely little, it's quite big. It's a lovely building. It's about 400 or 500 years old. This is only a small part of it. Does actually go around quite a bit. Yeah. So it's from about the 1700s. Is that right? That makes it 300-year-old, doesn't it? I don't know. About 1744, I think it is. So that brings it forward a bit, doesn't it? There is like a stone lintel inside in the attic that has the date carved onto it, but that doesn't necessarily mean the date it was built. It could just mean the date that somebody carved the date on it. But I do know it's old. This isn't gluing very fast. I am here, I'm just holding it still. That's better. I'll just No, I can't prop it up on there because it's going to fall off. I'll leave it propped up there for the moment. Right, what I need to do now is try and make a curve piece that goes over there but follows the shape. It's not going to be easy to use the thicker card for that, so I'm going to have to try and do that with the thinner stuff. Getting the shape. Yes, they are eyebrow windows. The last time I did this, I cut a slit into the roof where it went into. I'll try and do this. So I made a little dormer for a witch's cottage I was building, and the way I managed to get it to fit into the roof, like I say, was to cut a slit into the roof shape and sort of force it in. I'm going to try and get the shape to match onto the roof this time. That is not 100% solid. What I ideally need is a little curved former. All the way on the inside. I'm just going to try and do something different. Not try and do something different, I'm just going to attack it in a different way. I'll just put a bit more glue on there. Try and force that to set solid. Like I say, I could really do with some activator spray, which I don't have. So stop whinging about it, Lee. You don't have any. So live with it. Just go to the opposite end here. Now I need to try and give this a curve, so I need to find something to form it with. That's got too many stuff stuck to it. That mark indicates its longest point. So I'll cut a straight from that point there. Do you know what? I've changed my plan. It's going to get a better result if I actually curve it all the way over. Not just try and curve over not just try and curve over from that point, I'm going to curve all the way over. And we'll see what result that gives us. So I'll apply some glue there, over the top of the former, and onto that bit there. Got to try and retain the squareness. So this should glue fairly quickly because it's card. We'll make that kind of shape there. This is all going to be clad with, well, on the sides it's going to be clad with tiles, and the top is like a separate sort of leaded effect. I was looking for a pair of tweezers then, that was a sure I had to one side, I don't. CA glue has that annoying property where if you want to stick it to something quite quickly, it won't, and if you want it not to stick, like if you just got a drop on your fingers, it will stick them fast. Don't think I'm going to have enough with this one to do two, so we'll just have to cut another strip to the same dimensions, but this has certainly made it easier. I'm just trying to smear up some of the excess there so it's not as hard to cut through. So that's sticking quite nicely. Yeah, there's not going to be enough there for another one. I just need to cut a similar piece, similar size strip, so I'll just wait for that to, we've almost got like a tunnel shape going on there now. Just wait for that to set, and I'll just cut another length of this off. Don't really need to be wearing these gloves anymore. I've already dealt with the windows, putting the glazing in place. I've got things sticking to my hands though now. That's the downside. Okay, so we'll do as before. Very nearly put my thumb in it then. That's just making sure we get a nice curved piece as well. See, it's very easy, the glue seeps everywhere, it's very easy to get your fingers stuck in it. That's squared it off quite nicely. Now the tricky part is going to be trimming off the excess. So we'll start off with the biggest piece cutting off. Now what I'm going to have to do is cut along that angle first and then cut in there. I don't think that's going to be easy to achieve unless I get it on the edge of the table. I need to raise it up slightly. I said I wasn't going to touch the glass, I've just touched it. I'll just use this old set square to give me some leverage. I perhaps need to get a light on now, don't I? It's getting a bit dim. Now just move those out of the way, give yourself a bit more room. What I'm trying to do is get this block up so I can just, like I said, just raise it up a little bit to be able to trim. There, that's what I've done. So I just cut onto that angle there. Oh, do you want to come in, Mary? That's an awkward moment, you know. You'll just have to wait a minute. Come on then. Come on. Yeah, you come. Hurry up. Right, sorry guys, I'm just going to let the cat come through so we can go and get something to eat. Come on then. Where have you gone? Mary, come on, come on. Enjoy your pets. Hello, Ryan. How's Ryan? Right, that's the two sides done. I just need meow. I just now need to cut to the apex. Yeah, I am. I think. I do like a nice football tournament. Now this is where it's either going to work or not. That sounds a funny thing to say. What I mean to say is because it's following a curve on two planes. No, I think that's actually done it. Okay, so we've got that sort of shape going on. And it's not quite accurate, but I do have some, I'll just show you, I do have to clad it yet in another finish. So that's the basic shape of the dormer made. It doesn't quite marry up with the shape of the roof as I'd wanted, but I can adjust that. I think part of it's to do with the angle of this. Part of it's to do with the angle of the supporting beam that I've put on. So if I just make that a much shallower angle. It's still a bit off. And it's, like I say, it's okay. I will rectify that with the side cladding. It's going to have a bit of. It's going to have a bit of flashing on it anyway. Right, so I'll just go and do the other one. Sorry, I was losing track of where I was panning onto there. Oh no, I don't believe it. The other cat's now asking to come in. Why is it when they always ask to come in when you sit down? Just a minute, Pippin, I'm just doing this. Not happy, are you? You've let Mary in, but you haven't let me in. It is, he's a terror for knocking things off the table. Good evening, Raymond. Right, so I've got the majority of that done. I can now just take this protective film off the back. Keep reaching for those tweezers that aren't there. I need to go find them. I was just being a bit silly the other day. I don't know if you've seen the continuing adventures of Ernie and Bert elsewhere, but I just felt they needed to jump in on this one even though they're the wrong scale. Okay, Okay, now you can actually see through the window, but once I put it up on the roof line there, you won't be able to. You found it funny as well. I like to have a giggle now and again. I'm just going to let the other cat in. Mary and Pippin both in. You can tell we're Lord of the Rings fans. Okay, I'm going to glue the... No, I'm not. I'm not going to glue it in. Good evening, Chris. I've just realised that I do need to do a little bit of tiling first. Just to get this right, I need to get the tiles on first. So otherwise it's going to be very, very difficult to fit. So what I need to do is stick a row of tiles on the side of this, and in the case of this one, along the top. Now this is a good fit, so I can to the most part stick the tiles on straight away without worrying about whether they're going to nudge up or not. Sorry, I'm just double testing on the roof there. So I'm going to put some tiling on, and I've been waiting to do this bit because I've already stuck the roof former on for the main part of the house there. But before I can carry on with that bit, I need to do this bit. And it's all to do with processes, is this. There's certain things that you have to work through before you can move on to the next part. Good evening, Joe. I'm looking forward to a nap. I'm heading down to Devon to go and drop Dave's model off tomorrow, so I need to get a decent night's sleep. Right, so these are my laser cut roof tiles, and I'm going to use these pieces to glue onto the sides of these dormer windows, which I keep calling gables. I'm actually going to, instead of using a grid, I'm just going to eyeball it. So, could be risky. No, I haven't rented a big van, it's going in the back of my Zafira. So, fingers crossed. Okay, so these are made out of self-adhesive labels to make it easier to apply. Easier in terms of sticking, maybe not easier in terms of being able to hold on to it and trim. So it's not going to be a quick process, this, because it's fiddly. These I want to overlap evenly. A straight line. Cat's whinging already. Wrong kind of food. We've got 5 in total, 3 indoor ones and 2 outdoors. So the indoor ones don't tend to come in here. The outdoor ones only come in by accident when I'm letting them in. All 5 actually cause chaos if they get anywhere near the work table. As you could imagine, delicate stuff all over the place. So I'm just going up slowly, overlapping and making sure that the tiles overlap as well. I've given up cutting them alternately. I'm just going to overlap them and then cut the excess off with the knife. This is just one strip, so it should go most of the way, if not all the way up. I've set the overlap so that it should actually just line up with the top of the cuts of the previous one. That's how I'm getting a straight line. It's quite rustic though, so we can afford a bit of wobbliness. No, it's not going to go all the way up, is it? I'll need another strip. Good evening, Dave. How are you doing? I'm not going to be on much longer because I'm going to end up with a phone call from my son asking to retrieve him from the gym. Since they're supposed to be out by 9, I would imagine it'll be any time soon. So I'm just making the dormer windows. I need to make them as a full unit to stick on first, because it's a heck of a lot easier sticking the tiles onto the sides of these now rather than trying to do it when the dormer's attached. probably need a sharper blade. I don't want to tempt fate there. I'll change blades. Because I've been cutting through super glue, it's dulled the blade quite considerably. Just put a fresh scalpel blade on. As you can see, I've already nicked my finger tonight. That's made all the difference. Not always easy to peel off the backing, these. So the other night, whilst I was doing something else, I just lasered myself a few sheets of roof tiles. Harder to apply the longer the sheet is, the longer the strip is. I don't know if you saw, Ray, but I put up a few more episodes of the stream last night, yesterday even. Oh, verify to continue already. Sorry, I had to do a verification then. Maybe it's because there's not enough going off on screen. I don't know, but every time I come on live now I have to verify after I've been on a while. It's a bit annoying. I did do some work last night, but I didn't film it. It was just a bit of sort of supportive work. What I was doing last night was, whilst I was watching a film, I was just doing a bit of preparatory work ready to get the roof in place. Because to get the roof fixed on here, I've had to make sure that these upper windows were in place and all blacked out. So what I've done is I've painted the interiors of the lower floor black, so that when you look through the windows you're just seeing a black reflection. The upper floor has a floor in it, but I've glued in some tissue to represent net curtains. I did that the other night. What I've done since I did that was I've changed my mind about how it appears. Sorry, I'm just speaking slowly because I'm trying to think at the same time. I need to plug another light in. Let me just switch the light on to make it a bit brighter. There we go. So I don't know if you can see or not, but I've changed the tissue paper inside for the neck curtains. It was a bit too coarse, and you could see the texture of the paper. It had it had big dots on it. So I've switched to a more coarse. Sorry, I switched to a plain tissue, which now looks much better. And on the other side, just round the corner, I've just glued in some flooring and painted the interior as well, just so I could get the roof part on this section glued in, because I couldn't glue that in until the windows were sorted. So there's like I say, there's always processes I need to complete before I can move on to the next part. And that was one thing I wanted to get done. It was a bit dull and uninteresting in terms of filming, so I didn't live stream that bit. It was just a bit of behind the scenes work, if you see what I mean. But I couldn't not show the dormer windows being made, so I had to come on for a little while and do that. So like I say, I'm expecting a come and get me phone call any moment, so don't know when that's going to come, but it's going to be any time soon, because like I say, under 16s or under 18s are booted out at 9 o'clock. They're actually really small tiles on this house, so you get a lot of rows. I'm looking forward to tiling the main part of the roof, because that's going to bring it to life. In addition to the windows have started to lift it, but once I get the roof tiled, it's going to change. Thank you for the rose, yeah. Having a tiled roof is going to change the appearance so much. That's the sides clad. I just need to trim the excess off there and then go down the other side. Again, I'll just use my wooden block to rest on. When I say wooden block, it's not a wooden block at all, it's a very ancient set square. This was my grandfather's. Okay, so that's how that tiled side's looking. Obviously I'm going to paint that tile colour. So I just work on the other side, do the same thing, and then I'll have to tile the apex roof part as well. The other one's going to be slightly different in that, these eyebrow windows are going to be slightly different in that the sides are tiled. It's tiled up to about here, but then the top is lead. Here, but then the top is lead. I've got 10 more minutes and then I need to go. He wants collecting at 10. So yeah, all the other parts will be permanently attached. It's just I've left them loose for ease of building. But yes, they'll be permanently glued onto a base. So I've got the the TV room section there is separate. I still need to do a bit of carving around that doorway, fit the door, etc., and then that will glue permanently onto there. It's going to make fitting the wall, etc. It's just I need to be able to keep moving around to do various bits on it. So once certain bits have been done, I can then start gluing the other parts on. But I haven't made the TV room's the only other part of the building that I've made yet. So I've still got a lot of drawing up and cutting to do. But I want to get the main part of the house made before I can move on. Good evening, Pip. I'm just on for another 10 minutes and then I'm going to have to go out. It's taxi time. And I'll probably be out a while. In fact, probably that will probably be it, because my son's been out into town with his girlfriend today. Picked up a new set of contact lenses which he needs to take with him tomorrow, but he's left them in her bag and she's now gone lifeguarding. So we have to wait till she finishes work before we can go pick them up. It's not very convenient, but can't get them tomorrow because it's completely the opposite direction to where we're heading. I'd rather not be running around tonight because I've still got a bit of sorting out to do. I'm packed, but he's not. And I want to do a bit more work on this. It's a little bit easier working this way around. -2, blimey. That's not a permanent cut, it's just temporary. I've just realised I've knocked the front of that gable off. It's come off intact, so I'll just wait until I've finished this bit before I glue it back on. I just for a moment wondered where on earth that had gone. Sorry, not gone, where it had come from. It can't have been securely glued to start off with. I'm sorry if I keep wandering off screen. Good evening, cat. Right, I'm going to have to go. I said 10 minutes, didn't I? But you what's picking up in 15 minutes. I need to be setting off. Right, I'm sorry, my good people. I'm going to have to leave you there. Yet again, L&R Models has to be a taxi, and I need to go. So, hopefully the next time you come in, I'll have finished doing this side cladding, and we can get that glued in place up there. Of course, it would stick better if I had already trimmed that, so we're almost in a good position with those dormer windows, which I keep calling gables, but I'm going to have to go. So catch you all again soon, and thank you for watching.